So welcome back, GONGA lab fans. Today we will show you one project that we made just from curiosity. This is a video clip of comparing these so-called old-fashioned bikes versus modern bikes, how much slower and how much faster they might be. The problem of all these videos, what the people are doing on these YouTube channels and so on, is quite misconceptional, and that we're gonna discuss just in a minute. This is original bike, still in original state, as long as we talk about the frame, all the rest, and maybe the headset, and all the rest was modified, just for the purpose of showing that it's not about the frame, which is making bikes slower or faster, but it's much more other accessories such as wheels, bottom brackets, and gears, especially the gears, and of course the position. Now, this is original bike from former Yugoslavian brand, or let's say Slovenian brand, Rok. The type of the bike was marathon. In original state, this bike had bigger wheels than 622 dimension. The original wheels were 630, front and the rear, and also had very bad brakes on it. So we made a modification on the bike, and we will tell you what everything was changed. First of all, we changed the wheels. These are the standard wheels that even modern bikes are using. It's not 3-axle system, but it's still a rim brake system. Originally had the friction shifters on the right and the left side. The original crank was, I think, 5242 or 5342. We changed it with the Campagnolo 5339, and we made our own bottom bracket. And if we just do the spin test, you will see that this is rotating in infinity. It contains 3 separated bearings. Why 3 bearings? Well, it's just about the weight distribution. Well, when you're putting a lot of power on the bike. We changed the bottle cages to be much more lighter. These are the plastic material. And the majority what we changed was we modified the stem. Originally, these bikes had so-called wedge system, which you could lift up and down, lowering down. And the problem was that was not very convenient because it has the old-fashioned diameter of the handlebar, and we want to use a little bit more modern. This is 38 centimeters wide handlebar, center to center, and we installed a head system, and then we changed the handlebar, and we changed the shifters. Now, as you can see, this is the SRAM Red 10 stick, the lightest group set ever made by SRAM on this bike. And now, the heart of this bike is, okay, the front derailleur is 40 years old, I don't know, Dura Ace. The bike itself is also around 40 years old. We changed the position of the attachment of the brake calipers because these are the double pivot, very stiff and rigid brake calipers. Because when you use standard wheels, road wheels, you have different reach. So we had to drill additional hole in front fork to make it lower, and we had to mill both sides of the caliper, the brake pad shoe attachment to be a little bit lower, that we kind of catch the right position. In the rear, we had to place another, let's say, adapter, which was able to attach the brake caliper on the lower position as well. Now, we will take a closer look of this bike. What are all other modifications? So in here, as we mentioned before, it's 10-speed SRAM rack, and it works like a Swiss hour. This is the brand of the bike. It's made by Rock, but probably all these pipes and tubes were probably made in Dedachai or maybe Columbus. I didn't see any other markings. And this is, of course, 4 years old Dura Ace. Still working fine. There's a little bit rust because the chrome protection fall out. This is the Campagnolo crank, and this is the adapter that we had to place. We made it custom so you can lower the brake caliper. So another thing was to change the saddle and seat post, install the light, and this is the system that we modified as well. So now we come in here. We have 10-speed sprocket cassette, and we have 12-speed chain. Now you will wonder how the hell this works with mountain bike SRAM X7 8-speed derailleur. Well, it's a well-tuned system, and we will show you why. Of course, original bike didn't have, this is another modification, original bike didn't have the rear derailleur hanger because the derailleur originally had mounted like a fork wedge type of hanger, which was part of the derailleur. So if you want to use any modern derailleur, you cannot attach it. So we did custom made rear hanger, and we welded on the rear fork. And then there was a problem because these bikes, as you can see from this side, if you push very high wattages, the wheel will try to get out of this sleeve because it's attached from this direction in, not from the back. So in that concern, we had, during testing, we had issues that it was always rubbing when you push high wattages, rubbing the brake pads. So we had to put additional restraint plate in here, which is screwed on the rear hanger, and there is a 3-axle system in here. So there is no movement that your wheel would start to rub or just getting in touch with the rear fork inner wall, because that was happening. And now we will show you why this stuff works on 8-speed derailleur. In here we have a special modulator. So this one is, let's say, fine-tuning of tension, giving the fine-tuning of tension of the rear derailleur shifting cable. And because we have 10-speed sprocket in here, 12-speed chain, we also modified the spacers between these to kind of mimic the synchronization of the rear derailleur to catch the gears, and it works perfectly. Of course, you have to put this in specific position because these have teeth which are jumping inside and catching the positions, and it works perfectly. As you can see, this is 1134. It can also use 36 on this cassette. We just put out some other smaller gears, I mean the plates, and install bigger ones. Now, this bike generally, it really, you feel that this has nothing to do with resistance. It's very smooth bike. It's very let's say, compliant. It's very comfortable on a rough or even cobblestones, and it can maintain on descents. We were measuring on descents. It carry on more speed than any modern bikes with the same weight. If we put the rider with 70 kilos or 75 sitting, don't pedaling on a rough surface, it's just continue with the similar speeds. And that's a well-known characteristics of the chrome molybdenum. And this is not welded, but it's locked, so was braced together, of this type of bikes. Of course, now this bicycle during testing had the same wattage input. It was measured at around 340 watts with 56, 57 kilo of rider weight, and compared to modern bikes. And we'll be surprised that this bike per kilometer, because this was a 2 kilometer long climb, average 10%, very steep, so the aerodynamic crappy thing is excluded. It was only 12 seconds slower on 2 kilometer length. So which means per kilometer you're losing between, let's say, 6 until 10 seconds if you consider that you don't have only on these long climbs, you have also shallow inclines and faster sections, so the aerodynamics is also, but estimated is it's around 6 until 10 seconds per kilometer. Now, why all the people who are measuring this kind of stuff on YouTube and they're saying these bikes are really crap, they're really slow? Because they use, first of all, they use original friction shifters. They use bigger gears, heavier gears in the back. Probably the system is made same like on the other side, that the wheel can slide out and it's rubbing the brakes. It's slowing you down. Of course, you have as well heavier gears. Heavier gears, if you're not get used to it, that's different type of, let's say, pedaling style, which these people in modern world doesn't recognize anymore, that you need to be much more heavier rider, much more stronger rider, much more muscular rider like in the past. And as well, the problem is that people, when they sit on the bikes like this, they don't have bike fit same, or let's say similar, as they have on the modern bike they use. But in this case, the position of every single thing except the height of the handlebar, because the frame is very big, you cannot go lower as you would have on the modern bike. So that's much more concern of the aerodynamics if you would measure it on the flats, but this is measured on the heels. So it's a lot of misconception when people are saying all bikes are crappy bikes. I would say the opposite. I would say if you put a little bit money on it, change the wheels, change the gears, and do some modification, this bike will still last for another 20 years before they will develop super fast bikes which will leave this behind on 10% climb, let's say for half a minute per kilometer. Then this bike will not be competitive anymore. But in comparison with other bikes, I'm using it personally, it's still fast enough to be competitive. If you go 50, 60 kilometers an hour, of course, use the aerodynamic advantage, go behind someone who is very fast, and you will have not to worry about it. Do you have aerodynamic position on the bike? Is the bike enough aerodynamic or not? You just use another rider. And that's how smart people are doing. Thanks for watching and bye.